Okay, welcome back everyone. In this lesson what we're going to be doing is taking our internal CSS, which is located in our head of our index.html, and we're going to be moving it over to its own external sheet. And the reason behind that is if I were to go to run the actual site that we have current at the moment, what you can see is kind of the evolution that we did last lesson, where we replaced the top image where it used to have the H1 tag, and we replaced that with a standard PNG that we made in Photoshop, and then we replaced the actual text with an alt instead. So the image is what's visible. If the image doesn't load, the alt or the alternative text will, and the H is gone, the H1. So that's one thing that we did. And then we also, as you just saw, the menu is complete. We have a CSS built menu with a hover effect. When I click on period 1, it goes to the period 1 page. As you can see that the menu didn't load. Any other subsequent page, they also don't have them. Now, if we wanted the menu on it, we could have built in the style in the head, just as you could see, but we would then have to do it 8 or 9 more times, and this is not considered to be consistent or efficient. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the CSS out, eliminate the style altogether, and call an external. So let's make the external sheet first. So I want you to click File, New. Now you have a blank document, and let's define the language first. So you're going to go to Language under C and select CSS. Let's save this. So let's do File, Save As, and you should be putting this in your Creative 01 folder, as you can see, in the Styles folder. Okay, so at this point you should know how to get to the Creative 01 folder, and you should be able to go to the Styles folder, which is now empty, and we're just going to call it Style. Style, and it's going to add the .css extension automatically for us, and we're going to hit Save. So now we have style.css. You can see that it's right here in the tab. And what we're going to do is add information to it. And the information is already here. And we're going to take the stuff between the style tags, the stuff that already works. We're going to Control-C, copy it. You can also do Edit, Copy. You can right-click, Copy, but we need to copy it. Come over here and paste. You can see that it looks a specific way. We have the light blue, right, properties, and then we have the value for those properties over here. They're separated by a semicolon, and unlike HTML, the equal sign is no longer used, and you can see a colon. Okay, the specific rule for the unordered list is between the two brackets here, which are not the square brackets. Okay, some people call them the squiggly brackets, the curvy brackets. And that's how rules are defined. So this one is just off to the right. They don't necessarily need to be where they are. Traditionally, you would kind of see it like this. All right, and maybe these things would be one block over. But the point is, you have the tag, you have the squiggly brackets, then you have the properties and values in this format. Colon instead of equals, semicolon meaning it's done. That one specific rule is defined, and then there's a few of them. Okay, so CSS is done. Let's just do File, Save at this point. We're going to apply this code to every single page. So we're going to close style.css in a minute, but let's tie in style.css. So let's erase this, all of it from style to style. Make sure you don't delete your head tags. Okay, we're going to add the link into this, but let's save, Control S, or File, Save, and let's just run it in Chrome and see what it looks like without the menu. As you can see, it is a bulleted list, which is an unordered list. That's the UL, and it's in a specific position with no margins, no padding, and everything because we've chose it to look that specific way. Okay. Now, once again, the CSS is going to transform this into that horizontal menu. All right. So we're going to switch over. and we're going to add the external link. So you're going to start the tag, type link, okay, relates to, two quotes, a style sheet. Its type is text, two quotes, with an equals, / CSS, and its link or its reference is href, just like almost like kind of like a hyperlink, right? As you can see, it's down here. We're just using it inside a different tag. The href tag, or the attribute, is going to equal the style folder. So this is a good opportunity or good chance or time to look to see. Let's go to your folder, your Creative 01. Make sure you know what it's called. Is it style or is it styles? So it's styles, and then style singular is the name of the file. If yours are different, obviously code them accordingly. So href, so we're going to name this folder styles / style.css. That's the name of the file that we referenced, or that we just made. So now when we close this tag, file save, this should just work. Because once again, this is linking the style sheet in this folder that's going to have the rules in it that's going to control our menu. So it should look back the way we had it. So let's just run it in Chrome, and sure enough, there it is. Now, of course, period 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the way down still does not have this. However, we just need to copy and paste some code on all of our pages. Now, pay attention. This is potentially risky if you do not pay attention. For simplistic sake, I'm just going to take the top line 1, see line 1, and I'm going to highlight from line 1 all the way down to the end of my unordered list menu. So line 1, for me, it's down to 24. Yours is probably different, so look for the tag. So the document declaring of HTML, and then the ending of the unordered list. It's going to include our style sheet link. It's going to include our menu. And actually, before we copy this, come over to class equals active and delete that. Okay, so it looks just like this. All right. So once again, let's start with line 1, drag all the way down to your ending of your unordered list, hit Control C, excuse me, and then we're going to replace this in every single page moving forward. Now, we're replacing the home title PNG. You're going to have to change the names of that. So when I go over to P1, mine's P1 underscore title. I'm going to have to fix that when I'm done. So I'm going to go over to here, but it's still a lot less work. So we're going to go over to the end of our menu. There is no unordered list at this time, but there will be when we paste. So at the end of our club and sports, or your period 8, depending on who you are, paste, Control S. Before we continue this 9 more times, let's make sure we didn't make a mistake. Let's just run this. Chrome, home, period 1. So now I have a P1 title image. So I'm going to fix that just so you can see it. So this is what you do moving forward by fixing all of your images. So P1 is here. We're going to change the image that we did last lesson, P1 underscore title. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to run this again. As you can see, period 1, home, period 1, home, period 1. So it's working. The menu's there. The images are consistent. Obviously, period 2 doesn't have it, 3, 4, and so forth. Okay? So once again, we're going to go back to Notepad. We're going to click on Index. We're going to highlight from the doc declare all the way down to the end of the unordered list, Control C. Period 1's already done. Let's go to period 2. Start at the declaration of the document to the end of the list of your menu items. Paste, Control S. Let's run in Chrome. Let's Control Alt Shift R. So that works. I'll close this tab and the remaining. Control-Alt-Shift-R. I'm going to try to remember that. Okay, period 2 is done. So I'm going to go over to here and paste. Control-S, then Control-Alt-Shift-R. Runs in Chrome. It looks identical, but once again, pay attention to the file extensions. If the menu is running on P3, like it is, you're just going to have to change this header image after the fact. You should have made them at this time. If you didn't, obviously do that first. Okay, period 3 works. Let's go to period 4. Highlight all of it. Paste, which is Control-V, Control-S, Control-Shift-Alt-R. I'm previewing it in a different window. As you can see, here it is, period 4, and so forth. So I'm not going to continue this to the end. This is something that you should be able to move forward, continue pasting on 5, 6, 7, 8 in clubs and sports. But what we did in this lesson was we replaced your internal CSS that located in the head with an external CSS sheet, and we linked it. So there's the sheet, simple rules for the unordered list, the list items, the link in the list items, and then what happens when you hover. So at this time, you should be able to continue. If you are lost or need reference, if you reference this file, if you just search W3 Schools external CSS, or if you go to this specific link, you can see everything that was used in terms of content for this lesson. Have a good day.